First, you get my disembodied cartoon head because I am unable to easily do stuff on camera. So you get a version of me with a bit less gray in my beard. This is the first in a series of videos on things that have impacted me as a creative person. I'll cover specific things, individual action figures, single issues of comic books, and as with this episode, video games. So I present to you, Josiah is Reminiscing. The original PlayStation is the system for which I have the most nostalgia, for reasons you'll see here and in future videos in this series, but also because it was the first system, at least in my world, that pushed storytelling limits in a much more cinematic way. My older brother Jake and I actually went in together to buy the system. It was only fitting that one of my most significant gaming and story experiences would be shared with him. Even the title screen of the game was moody and very much set the tone for what would come. And no, we didn't have the director's cut version. Not until later, at least.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we're searching for the helicopter of our compatriots Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of our mission.
You haven't found it?
No, I haven't found it yet. Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. Bravo Team went to the hideout of the group and disappeared.
Look, Chris!
Likewise, the opening cinematics with real, live actors blew my 14-year-old mind. The limits of full motion video were being pushed beyond anything I'd seen or experienced before. I only saw the Sega CD at that point. It seems so utterly cheesy now, but I think it still works in setting the tone for the game.
Joseph!
Jake, being my older brother, the second of the four of us, and I'm the fourth, dominated the gameplay. For example, when we'd play fighting games, he'd actually punch me. He didn't hurt me, well, maybe a little. Actually, yeah, he kind of did. But we actually got along really well, and still do. I was essentially Jake's navigator. I'd figure things out, solve the puzzles, remember where things were, and so on. Honestly, at first, I was just too afraid to play the game by myself. We did live in the woods, after all. There were just so many scary moments in the game. It kind of reminds me of The Shining by doing what I crassly call scaring you with boredom. The slow parts of the game, walking place to place, doors opening, the crunch of zombies, it all makes it scary. And it makes it that much more scary when something exciting happens and dramatic and just blows up in your face. One thing that I loved and still love about the game is the fixed camera. Don't get me wrong, the camera in pretty much all modern games allows for a much better experience, but the camera here set the tone, and tone is so important in storytelling. The various angles made it feel cinematic in a way that games before this really hadn't as much, at least, again, for me. One of the most important moments in my own gaming history and just my own history as a storyteller and as a fan and a gamer and a film watcher and anything is when you encounter the first zombie at the end of the hallway. You hear it. You know it's there. Then it cuts to the scary animated scene. At least it was scary at the time. You find yourself chased very slowly, but with those controls, particularly in the initial playthrough, you'd find yourself running into the wall or just getting caught by the zombie. Later, we did get some magazines with guides in them to help make sure we perfected everything. Together, we eventually beat the game. Later, I'd played through it myself multiple times. But it took my brother being with me, or more accurately, me being with my brother, to get through it that first wonderful, scary time. The stereotype of the gamer has long been the isolated weirdo. However, my best gaming experiences, they all came when I was a weirdo with someone I care about.